build your life on flimsy things. You can dress it up with any kind of clothes you want to dress it up with. Build your life on flimsy things and watch how you be found a weakling. And I ain't going to be found a weakling, not to myself, not to my household, not to my daughter, not to my family. Like I'm Jermaine McNair. You get what I'm saying? And we're going to own that. So prison for me, you know what I mean? That's how it changed me. And then I began to look at things and I began to deal in me. Those things that had withstood that, those things, I began to learn those things. I literally would write papers about things that I know last. I've written whole papers on humility, entire papers on compassion, integrity, long suffering, like the ability to feel another person's pain and suffer for it on behalf of another person. How those things are so strong and so powerful. But how do I take them from being more than just an idea to something that I actually operationalize into my life? How do I do that? And I needed to understand, how do I take these intrinsic, intangible things that to anybody else don't mean money, don't mean power, how do I take those and turn those into the way I deal in my life so that everything I do becomes filled with the right kind of energy, and then watch how these things happen around me. And I not only wanted that for me, I wanted that for my community.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And it's crazy. Here we are 10 years later, and you're teaching. You know what I'm saying?
About 11 now, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you know, you're teaching. I know you just got into the teaching space.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about it, but I seen you post. I'm like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
You know I'll pay attention.
Lightweight professor type time. Not quite a professor, yet, but definitely in that professor chair, growing into that space. It's interesting, man. I mean, I love kids.
Yeah, I know you like the youth.
Man, you can't tell me nothing about young people. I don't care. Young people they can do no wrong to me. You know what I mean? It's our job to rock with them. It ain't their job to rock with us. You know what I mean? So I rock with my youngins. I don't care, black, white, color, whatever. And I sit up in class and I talk that street talk. We talk about prison. We talk about streets. We talk about the hood. We talk about
just. It seems like you'll be a dope teacher, man.
We bust it down. And mind you, I'm sitting in the class, 120 kids, 15 of them black.
College?
Yeah, only college. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, university and Pitt. That's where I teach at. I teach both. So, it's just how teaching is, man, let me tell you. For me, what I did not understand was how the system works.
Okay.
So anytime I'm an entry-level instructor. I'm an entry-level college instructor. Adjunct professor. You know what I mean? Anytime you teach anytime you're entry-level teaching, you're teaching intro courses, like intro to sociology, intro to nursing, you're teaching intro courses. If you're teaching intro courses, you're teaching typically freshmen.
Yeah.
If you're teaching freshmen, your class sizes are humongous. Because freshman classes are always the largest classes, right? So I'm sitting in there, entry-level instructor, 120 kids, and kids that are youngest and at their most vulnerable point in college. So here's the funny thing about teaching, though. If you're really not teaching, the funny thing about educating, if you're educating people, you can even take a wrong answer somebody gives you and see how they're thinking. I could look at the young homies in the classroom giving me some old answer, and I'm like, oh, I see what they was doing. And it's like, okay, look, no, what you're doing is you're looking at it like this. Look, flip that over here, flip that like that. Look at it like that, and now tell me. Like, you could take a wrong answer and still educate somebody. Yeah. But here's the catch, though. I got 120 kids. Yeah. I can't give that energy to 120 kids. Right. So normally it's nights now, like the reason why I told you, I try to watch my weekends now, try to watch my commitment, try not to overcommit. Because a lot of nights now, I'm sitting at home 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, talking to these kids about their answers, working with them individually, but it'd be 12 o'clock at night, and I'm like, yo, Jay, you only on kid 37. You still got 80 kids to go. You got to give them a plus or minus, push them out of the way, and keep on going about your day. But then it's like, I can't push them aside of the way. They the young homies. I gotta show them love, right? I gotta show them this opportunity for them to learn and grow. So at 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning, Jay, you on number 67, push these kids aside. I can't do it. The problem is, why does the system have 120 kids in one person's class? So obviously they expect me to multiple choice these kids to death and get them out my way. There ain't no way I can actually talk to them. So it's like, yo, the system really don't care nothing about y'all. These are really like diploma mills. And then it's like, I keep doing it because I'm never gonna step over kids. I'm never just gonna step over young people to get to where I need to go.
And I think that's crazy because my pops is a teacher too. But he's actually teaching for high school, I think he's in middle school. But it's crazy because he was the same way you were, energetic when it came to.
And he had to learn to pipe down.
Ended up, it broke him, man.
It's gonna break. Listen, that's what I tell myself. It's like, but Jay, you're giving him the energy right now, but you still fresh. How long can you hold up this pace? Because my relationship commitments are getting worse. Yep. People don't understand when I'm up at nights trying to work with these kids. And mind you, if they trust you, I only been teaching for 2 months. Yeah. The stories these kids have already shared with me, crazy. Yo, it's going down in their lives. How can you overstep these kids? And they bust it down with me. Like, they tell me what's going on in their lives. Yeah. And like I gave the midterm. Just last week, 2 weeks ago.
You got graded 120 papers? Oh my God.
So I gave my midterm, right, 2 weeks ago. And the last question, I gave a bonus question at the end of the midterm. I said, look, it's 120 something of y'all in the class. I don't get to check in on y'all individually. So if you will, as a bonus question, take 3 to 5 sentences and tell me how things are going. Word. And some of the responses I got was like, yo, I don't know how you knew as a professor to put this question on the test, but I'm so glad you asked. This is what's going on in my life. And some of them had great stories to tell about, I never thought I could come to college and fit in, but I'm joining a fraternity and I'm doing this and life is working out so amazing for me. And a lot of others was like, yo, they telling it. You know what I mean? And I'm just giving them 5 points for telling, but in the stories that you get, you know what I mean? And they're just like, yo, Mr. Professor, I don't know how you asked this question, but I just want to thank you for, that type of time, right?
You enjoy what you're doing right now? You seem like you enjoy it, man.
I'm saying, but when I say yeah, truly. But again, not only am I teaching in the schools, I'm mentoring in jails. I'm in the jails every Fridays. I mentor at the high schools. I go to the high schools every other Wednesday to sit with the freshmen in high school, and we got a class where they let all the young freshmen come in, and we just sit and chop it up. Like, wherever there's people that's going through in life, I'm there.
You just like people then.
No, man. Look, if you're here and you got gifts, help somebody. What are you doing here? You supposed to be all gifted.
Pause real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going through it right now. You see it, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, for me, it's here's what happens. It's like that role that you grow into. Yeah. It's like once people know you care, and once people know you actually have value and you're qualified to serve, because it sounds crazy to say you're qualified to serve, but I mean in a particular capacity, right? Sure. And then think about, if we're honest, how many me's there are. Yeah. Like, how many people you know that actually went through the mud like that and standing on this other side, but cognizant of all the steps. Yes. That means that no matter where you are, whether you're in the mud or whether you're up here or in somewhere in between, I can bust it down probably the realest parts of what that's like there. You know what I mean? So whether you're in high school, whether you're in jail, whether you're in college, I can tell you exactly, to a certain degree, what's going on. And then if I'm not afraid to share it honestly, because no parts of this system own me, meaning I don't have to be super timid about what I say in these spaces, because if I'm in the high schools, I'm not a teacher. I'm not your I'm not your 9th grade teacher. I'm coming from the neighborhood. If I'm in college, I'm over here from West Side. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily born and bred of the institution. You know what I mean? If I'm in the jail, I've been there, whatever, but I'm not the CEO, I'm not the counselor that's trying to talk to you about substance abuse. Like, I'm telling you, I know exactly how you got here. This happened, that, and they're like, yo, that did happen. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I know what it feels like. You know what I mean? So if you know you're that, how you gonna stay home?
There's people doing it every day.
And I've been there when I was a lot younger. Word. But for me, here's the deal. I learned that we measure our life by a lot of funny things. A lot of things that really don't add up to nothing.